Do y'all remember my video from yesterday? That Ebola has been declared a global health emergency by the World Health Organization and asked, will Americans lose their constitutional rights? That was yesterday. This morning, I'll wake up to the news that Bill Gates and Trump will be teaming up to fight Ebola. Thanks for tuning into Game Changer TV. I'm your host, Terri Lynn, and this is the channel where every day we're telling it like it is. Today is June 3rd, 2026, and let's just jump straight into this. Yes or no? Will the Trump administration be teaming up with Gavi, or some people call it Gavi, alliance over Ebola? Yes. Following the previous cuts, Trump administration announced it is re-engaging with the Gavi, the vaccine alliance, in response to the growing Ebola outbreak in Central Africa. Y'all strap in for this. Bill Gates is the founding partner of Gavi Alliance. It launched in 2000 with a catalyst of $750 million seed money pledge from Bill Gates Foundation, which continues to be one of the largest donors. So Bill Gates founded Gavi Alliance, and it's connected to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He flows money through that to keep it functioning. Gavi's duties is to provide the world with vaccines. Let's keep going. From yesterday, Reuters, the United States to re-engage with Gavi Vaccine Alliance amid Ebola outbreak, Mark Rubio says. From the New York Times, Rubio suggests the U.S. return to the global vaccine program in rebuke of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated in a pointed testimony to senators that he was reclaiming control of the U.S. relationship with Gavi, an international vaccine alliance. The United States to re-engage with Gavi Vaccine Alliance amid Ebola outbreak, Mark Rubio says. As Ebola rages, Mark Rubio to take reins from RFK Jr. over control of U.S. relationship with Gavi. Is Gavi Alliance a distributor for vaccines? Yes, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, acts as a global distributor, though it does not manufacture or physically ship the vaccines itself. Instead, Gavi functions as a massive public-private partnership that aggregates funds from governments and donors to purchase vaccines in bulk from pharmaceutical companies. It then distributes these vaccines to low and middle income countries primarily through the procurement agency partner with the United Nations, ensuring equal access globally. And Trump is now involved in this. Did Gavi distribute COVID vaccines? Yes, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, was a key organizer and administrator of the COVAX facility, the global initiative that procured and distributed COVID-19 vaccines to lower-income countries, working with partners like the World Health Organization and UNICEF to ensure equitable access during the pandemic.
Mr. Secretary, at this budget hearing last year, you testified that no one had died as a result of foreign aid cuts. Sadly, I think we're seeing in real time that that's not true today. There are more than 1,000 cases, more than 200 Ebola-related deaths. And as we know, one of the entities that is a critical global health tool is Gavi, particularly during a disease outbreak. It plays a role in distributing Ebola vaccines, and it has committed up to $40 million to develop a vaccine for the current Ebola strain that has no vaccine right now. So, how are you making sure that Secretary Kennedy, who has been sitting on those funds for months now, is going to release them so that they can go to help develop a vaccine to address the Ebola outbreak?
Yeah. Well, a couple points on Gavi. I would say that the president had asked that we allow Secretary Kennedy to play a leading role on the Gavi decision because of his strongly held views with regards to vaccine safety, and he wanted them to conduct some reforms. I actually talked to Senator Schatz about this last week as well, and so the State Department's going to be re-engaging. I'm not here to tell you we're going to yank this thing and we're not going to listen to his points of view, but the State Department a few weeks ago made the decision that we were going to re-engage on this issue of Gavi, respecting what HHS views on it are as well, and we want to take their input, but we'd like to get this issue resolved in an outcome that's acceptable, both to Congress and also to our goals on global health. So it is an issue. As I said, I wouldn't use the word defer, but we have certainly allowed him to play a leading role in determining what we're going to do next. But right now, we're sort of at a stage where we are going to re-engage. We need to drive this to an outcome.
I couldn't agree more. And so do you commit to using the $2 billion that Congress has appropriated for global health to actually help fund global health security?
Well, we do fund global health security beyond Gavi, by the way, and we can talk about that. We can talk about the compacts, I think 32 that we've now entered into with countries all over the world. We have a new agreement with the UN as well that they're very happy with. The Global Fund, we've hit our cap. We are at our 33%, and we've actually been able to attract additional donors from around the world to contribute to it. On this specific item, I would say we intend to get this resolved. We want to get this resolved. It's an important part of our matrix.
We will follow up, and I hope you will share with this committee as soon as you get it resolved.
So everybody's saying Trump's not a globalist, and Trump pulled us out of the World Health Organization, but now they're re-engaging with Gavi, and some of the board members own Gavi, UNICEF, and World Health Organization. And Mark Rubio says we are re-engaging, we're going to fund this, we're going to do this and get this to a resolution. It's the same people that were involved in COVID, now involved again. Gates Vaccine Cartel raises $9 billion to inject 500 million children in Gavi 6.0. Now this was July 4th, 2025. Following HHS Secretary Kennedy's move to defund Gavi over child deaths, vaccine injury reports, and suppression of science. Last week at the Global Summit Health and Prosperity through Immunization in Brussels, world leaders pledged more than $9 billion to the Gates Foundation Gavi, and now we are back in it after RFK Jr. had cut United States funding. Now Rubio says we're taking the reins back and we're going to re-engage with Gavi. Yes or no, does Gavi Alliance want a global Ebola vaccination? Global. Yes, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, funds and maintains a global emergency stockpile of Ebola vaccines so that any country in the world facing an outbreak can access doses free of charge if eligible. Is Gavi Alliance part of the Bill Gates Decade of Vaccines initiative? Yes, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, is a core founding partner and leading implementing agency of the global health effort initiated by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In January 2010, Bill Gates called for the next 10 years to be the decade of vaccines. And right on 2020, we hit it and pledged $10 billion to research, develop, and deliver vaccines to the world's poorest countries. Following this, the Decade of Vaccine Collaboration was established. Gavi serves on the Leadership Council of this initiative, acting alongside the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and the Gates Foundation to expand equitable access to immunization. Now listen to how Bill Gates explains how vaccines work. The man is not a medical doctor, but he's pretending to be one on TV.
I often talk about how vaccines are a miracle. They've saved millions of lives. But exactly how do they work? Well, they connect to the human immune system, which is itself really phenomenal. So when a germ gets inside and attacks your body, the immune system sees unusual foreign shapes on the surface. And then special cells in your body, called white blood cells, create antibodies that connect up. Then your immune system knows to go and kill this foreign object. The idea of the vaccine is, instead of having to get sick the first time to develop this immunity, We take something that looks like a foreign bug, teach the immune system the shape of this foreign object so it's ready to attack with antibodies very, very quickly when the real bug shows up, so you can avoid lots of diseases if you've been properly vaccinated. And that's why Gavi was created. Gavi came up with the money and a plan to get vaccines out to all the kids of the world. If you go back to 1990, about 9% of all children died before the age of 5. Now, that number is about 4%. And these vaccines that Gavi got out have been critical to that. So it really is a miracle. You can read more about vaccines and the investments we've made at gatesletter.com.
What is the meaning of Gavi? Heroine of God, or God is my strength. All I can say is the Bible says, cursed is the man that trusts in the arm of the flesh. Bill Gates' Gavi is not the God of my strength. This is crazy. And America, the United States of America, Christians who love Donald Trump, is now teaming up in this. Vaccine Works from Gavi Alliance. Collaboration will be key in the race for vaccine to control rare Ebola strain. And the United States is collaborating. And here's Bill Gates talking about Gavi Alliance.
Gavi's very innovative because it's constantly looking at the data. How do we make sure that...
First, let me just say this. He founded Gavi. He funded Gavi. He provides money to it annually. So he is the spokesperson for Gavi. So he is pushing this as a salesman to the world when he's got a vested financial interest in it.
Gavi's very innovative because it's constantly looking at the data. How do we make sure that these vaccines are always available? How do we maintain the cold chain? A lot of innovation there. How do we track the data to see what's the most efficient way to achieve our goal? The whole process of working with the country health systems with this deep understanding of where vaccines should be used, that's really revolutionized global health.
So will the Trump administration team up with Bill Gates and Gavi to fight Ebola? Yes, the Trump administration has agreed to re-engage with the Global Vaccine Alliance Gavi to combat the ongoing Ebola outbreak in Central Africa. Funding re-engagement. Despite previously pulling funding from Gavi, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that the State Department will re-engage with the organization to address this emergency. Will it be Gavi that gets the Ebola vaccines distributed to the world? Yes, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, is actively coordinating efforts to finance, stockpile, and get the Ebola vaccines distributed. Bill Gates again stepping into this, and Donald Trump is helping to fund him do this. More vaccines are coming. What is the meaning of collaboration? Because they said it's going to take collaboration to get this done. Collaboration is the act of two or more people, groups, or organizations working together to achieve a shared goal or produce a creative output. And Bill Gates' Gavi posted it would take collaboration to get this accomplished. So who is going to be collaborating in this? Okay, y'all know Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles? Y'all know her? What does she have to do with Bill Gates and Gavi in collaboration? And was it by accident or coincidence that Trump appointed her to be his chief of staff, his top advisor? Let's see the collaboration. In August 20, 2024, before the 2024 election, Trump said, he said all the right things. Trump said, well, you have to stop listening to lobbyists. During the 2024 presidential campaign, Donald Trump said he would not listen to lobbyists if he were elected again. However, with Trump's first big official public act as president elect, he broke that promise when he announced 2 days after the election that he will appoint corporate lobbyist Susie Wiles to be his new White House chief of staff. Since the White House chief of staff has historically been the gatekeeper for the president and one of the most powerful presidential advisors and people influencing the operations of the federal government, Trump will undoubtedly be listening to Susie Wiles. Wait till we go down this rabbit hole. Did Susie Wiles lobby for Gavi Alliance? The same people that we are now putting money back in the pocket to get vaccines to everybody in the world. She worked for Gavi. She lobbied on behalf of the interests of Gavi Alliance. Yes, Susie Wild was a registered lobbyist for Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. Her lobbying firm highlighted Gavi as a prominent client on their corporate website during her tenure. Talk about collaboration. Was Susie Wiles represent the interests of Gavi Alliance? I put the wrong sentence in there. Yes, before becoming White House Chief of Staff that has Donald Trump's ear, Susie Wiles worked as a corporate lobbyist for the firm Mercury Public Affairs, where she was a registered to represent Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. Oh, and it gets better. Susie Wiles worked as a co-chair and registered lobbyist at Mercury Public Affairs, a prominent firm that listed Gavi Alliance among its clients. The connection? Mercury Public Affairs retained lobbying contracts and represented major health and pharmaceutical entities, including Gavi, Pfizer, and Gilead. So she took money from Gavi Alliance and from Pfizer. She built relationships at Gavi and Pfizer, and now she is Trump's top advisor. And now they are refunding the Gavi initiative to bring vaccines to the world. So now this interview makes much more sense. This was at Trump's second term, at the beginning of it, when Bill Gates met with Donald Trump for 3 hours. This makes much more sense because Susie Wiles was there.
Have you met with Donald Trump since the election?
Yeah, I had a chance to go have a long and actually quite intriguing dinner with him.
What did you discuss? What was intriguing?
Well, we touched on a lot of things. It was over 3 hours. To my surprise, it was, just he and I, his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and the person who helps manage things for me, Larry Cohen. So the four of us sat there, and it was quite wide-ranging. Global health's the area that I work in, and such amazing things have happened and can happen there. I spoke a lot about HIV and that the foundation's literally working on a cure for that. We're at an early stage, and so he, in the COVID days, accelerated the vaccine innovation. So I, was asking him if maybe the same kind of thing could be done here, and we both got, I think, pretty excited about that. We talked about polio, where we're very close to getting that done, but if you stop, it'll spread back. And so I explained why it's been tough in Pakistan, Afghanistan. We've had cases show up in Gaza. We have cases in Africa. And he was fascinated to hear what he could do to maximize the chance that during the next 4 years, that incredible milestone will be achieved. I felt like he was, energized and, looking forward to helping to drive innovation. I was frankly impressed with how well he showed a lot of interest in the issues I brought up.
Think about whose team he's on and what agenda is being implemented and expanded. Y'all think about this. Think about this. Donald Trump, who Christians say is sent to us from God, is teaming up with the devil, Bill Gates, two devils. This is the den of thieves and devils right here. They are teaming up together to bring the world new vaccines, while Trump is talking about sending people from America who were exposed to Ebola to a concentration camp, actually, basically, but he's calling it a quarantine center in Kenya, that people will not even have American constitutional rights when they're there. Go see that video from yesterday. And here we are today. They are putting the funding back into it to make this happen. Are y'all ready? I'm not taking it. And I think mandated compliance is going to be a lot more brutal this time around. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. Keep serving Jesus. If you appreciate the content that you find on this channel, would you prayerfully consider supporting the ministry?